I know we've been over this a number of times. I've been told I can meet and talk to Cindy by Mr. Santino, and then we were told at the last town board meeting that because of a lawsuit and that retaliation, we're not permitted to talk to Cindy or meet with Cindy. I figured today, since it is so ridiculous, and this may also sound ridiculous, that I could ask you a question, you could ask Cindy a question, Cindy could tell you what the answer is, and then you could tell me. Okay. Where is the behaviorist that was promised in August that is supposed to be hired to rehabilitate the animals?
If I can just interject, you know that you're a plaintiff in a federal lawsuit that affects all of the issues that surround the animal shelter.
What does my lawsuit have to do with questions of, so you, excuse me, Mr. Wright, you mean to tell me if someone, God forbid, accidentally falls in this room and they sue Town of Hempstead, and you open up an investigation, that they are going to be prohibited from this building and asking questions?
I wanted to back up to the thing you said.
Could you answer that?
I want to back up to what you said in your opening comments, something about retaliation. It's not retaliation.
It's clear retaliation. You keep telling me because of my lawsuit, you won't answer questions.
This is why.
I'm not asking for Social Security numbers. I'm asking what is going on in the shelter.
Represented by counsel. You should have your counsel here. If your counsel was here, we could have a
I
discussion.
have an attorney here.
Well, okay, well, maybe bring your counsel forward, and if it's your counsel in the lawsuit, we can do that. We can have that discussion. But what we're not going to do, well, wait a second. This is a public meeting, town board meeting. We're not going to discuss the things that surround the lawsuit, because that's what it is. What you're doing is you're asking us questions, putting us on the record. It's like an examination before trial is what you're doing here.
You're holding me hostage as an example to instill fear in people, within the shelter included, to speak out. You are holding Lucille and I hostage
as you know,
through our lawsuit publicly, so that it scares people and people are too afraid to speak out.
There are discussions going on between...
About the behaviorist? About where the behaviorist is, why our animals are being killed.
There are discussions going on with your lawyers and our lawyers about the lawsuit. We can't discuss the parameters of what's going on at the shelter with you as it affects the lawsuit, because all of your questions touch on that lawsuit. So that's the answer to your question.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
If you want, by the way, if you want to submit it in writing through your attorney, which I had said to you, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, and that's fine too, and you can answer them that way.
And this is what you call transparency?
Absolutely. Were there not a pending federal lawsuit? See, everything that gets said...
Nothing resolves around that. That's a pathetic excuse to keep secrets. Maybe you can answer this question. No one's denying this is the kill shelter now, okay? Keeping that in mind, and animals are secretly being killed every day, how come with 5 new employees that are hired to save animals, there are no posts coming out of that shelter every day of the kill list? How come dogs like this have never had the opportunity to be saved? Sandy, who came in January and was killed last week.
For the record,
what would take almost a year to decide if a dog should die?
For the record, we disagree with the premise of your question. And by the way, your attorneys have contacted our attorneys, and they are on board with this. I believe they're on board with this process that I've laid out for you. So
I would check. I think you should. I think you misunderstood my attorney. If you think we're on board with anything.
Okay, well that's fine. That's why we can't do.
Like I said, it's very evident to me. Not only are you hiding things at the shelter, but you are using Lucille and I as a tool, held hostage, so people are afraid to speak. We are an example.
Once again, I disagree with the premise of your question.
Well, that's a fact. There's no other reason. Then what's the reason? Then what's the reason? Then tell me the reason. Ms. Murray, why don't you tell me the reason? Why are we still banned from the animal shelter?
there's a federal.
I'm asking Ms. Murray.
That's the whole basis of your federal lawsuit, isn't it?
That you have violated our civil rights and continue to?
Well, that's your allegation.
Well, what's the answer then?
That's why they build courthouses. We disagree with that.
You have to be charged with something.
Right. The DA is not interested in me. The town attorney, the town investigators are not interested in me. I'm not a criminal. What are you doing? That's what's going to be answered. And it's unfortunate that you can't answer my questions here. I have no idea how anyone's going to answer my questions when we get to trial. And I appreciate the fact, more than anyone, that there are volunteers in that shelter. They are eyes and ears for our animals. Unfortunately, Ms. Murray's getting thanked for it. The town of Hempstead never wanted volunteers. I personally, because I'm sure that this campaign and this year, everybody will be out and all of their offspring from the GOP to vote. And my campaign will be to get more and more and more volunteers in the shelter.